Have you ever sat at a poker table and felt like someone was reading your mind? No matter what you did, how you bluffed, or how you played your monster hand, they just knew. It's not magic, and it's not luck. It's a skill that the best players guard jealously. It's the art of reading minds, grounded in pure science. Today, we're unlocking that secret. Most people think those players who always call your bluffs have a special gift. The truth is, they've trained their brains to think differently. Studies of over 35,000 poker players revealed a fascinating insight. The top players don't just play better, their entire thought process is on another level. To understand this, you need to know that your brain and your opponent's operates on two distinct layers. First, there's the conscious layer. This is where you make deliberate decisions, where you think, okay, I'm going to 3-bet from the small blind. It's your active strategy. But beneath that is the second layer, the unconscious. This is the autopilot. It's where you act without thinking, based on thousands of hours of training. And here's the key that 99% of players miss. These two layers operate at different frequencies. When a player is in a familiar spot, one they've encountered countless times, their unconscious mind takes over. Their actions are fast, fluid, and natural. But the moment they're in a tricky, unfamiliar situation, their conscious brain has to step in. And that's when tells appear. The shift is so obvious you can literally see it. The player who was checking instantly now pauses. The one who was relaxed and chatty suddenly becomes tense and rigid. Neuroscience calls this integrated information processing. The best players aren't just looking at cards, they're decoding signals from their opponent's brains. To really read minds, you have to understand the 4 levels of thinking in poker. Level 1 is what amateurs do. What cards does he have? They try to guess a specific hand like pocket kings or ace king. This is basic and frankly useless. Level 2 is a big step up. What range of hands could he have? You stop thinking about one specific hand and start thinking in probabilities. You think, he 3-bet me from the small blind, so his range is likely strong pairs and big aces. But the real mind reading begins when you add observation to this. You notice patterns. Maybe this player 3-bets instantly with pocket aces, but hesitates for a second with kings. Suddenly, that hesitation lets you narrow down his potential 100 hand combinations to just 20 or 30. You're getting warmer. Level 3 is where you separate the good players from the pros. You start asking, what does he think I have? You consider your own table image from his perspective. He knows you're an aggressive player who raises a lot from the button. So what range of hands is he putting you on? Now you can adjust your strategy based on his perception of you. You're playing the player, not just the cards. And then there's level 4. What does he think I think he thinks I have? This is where legends like Ivey operate. It's layered mental warfare, thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead. The beauty of it is, most of your opponents can't even process thoughts on this level. When you're playing on level 4 and they're stuck on level 1, you become invisible. You're playing a completely different game. So, how do you actually read the tells that give all this away? It's not about looking for a nervous twitch. It's about understanding the science. Research shows that when someone is bluffing, their brain activates different processing systems. It's neurobiology. First, let's talk about hesitation tells. Your opponent is on the river, and he freezes for 3 seconds before checking. What does that mean? Most of the time, it means he's deliberating, and deliberation implies uncertainty. Uncertainty means weakness. Neuroscience explains that when his brain has to process multiple conflicting options, should I bluff? Should I check and give up? It creates a tiny, involuntary pause. Second, are comfort tells. Watch a relaxed, experienced player. Their movements are smooth when they bet. But what happens when that same player suddenly gets tense? When his movements become rigid and jerky? It means he's stepped outside his comfort zone. His conscious mind has taken over, and that's a goldmine of information for you. He's in a spot he hasn't mastered. Third, facial expressions. Your opponent can't control the micro expressions that flash across their face. The part of the brain that processes fear is different from the one that processes confidence. A player who is bluffing will try to look confident, but his body wants to signal fear. This internal conflict creates a visible dissonance, a crack in their poker face that you can learn to spot. Finally, and this is where the real money is made, betting patterns. Every player has a pattern. It's their signature. You need to become a detective. How fast does he bet when he's strong versus when he's bluffing? Does he pause for 2 seconds with a medium-strength hand but bet instantly with the nuts? Once you map this timing pattern, you can read him like an open book. His timing is his digital signature, and it doesn't lie. Now let's put it all together. The best mind readers don't rely on a single clue. They use an integrated system. Imagine this. A tight, aggressive player you've studied for hours raises from the cutoff. The flop comes ace-king 3. He hesitates for 2 seconds, then checks. Your integrated processing kicks in. 1. He's a tight player, so he's not raising with junk. 2. He hesitated before checking, signaling uncertainty. 3. You've studied his timing, and this pause is different from when he has a monster hand. 4. You know how he usually plays on ace-high boards. Your brain connects the dots. He has pocket queens or jacks, he's worried about the ace. You don't know with 100% certainty, but you have 70% confidence. In poker, that's a superpower, but be careful. There's a fatal trap that snares 96% of players who try this. They focus only on tells and ignore ranges. You see, an opponent looks nervous. That could mean he's weak and bluffing, or it could mean he has a monster hand and is trying to act weak. Without the context of his likely range of hands, the tell is useless. The true masters use tells to refine ranges. They use data to confirm their reads. So, how do you build this neural network in your own brain? First, become an observer. When you sit at a new table, spend the first 30 minutes just watching. Don't play a single hand unless you have to. Map the patterns. Second, test your theories. You think a player always slow plays his big hands? Next time the situation arises, test it. Call him down and see the showdown. You're building a mental model. Third, integrate all the layers: his range, the board, his timing, and his behavior. Finally, practice pattern recognition. The more you do it, the more your unconscious brain takes over until it becomes automatic. This isn't magic. It's deliberate neurocognitive training. Now, there is a dark side to this. Once you can read minds, you can also manipulate them. You can create false tells, acting weak when you're strong to induce a bluff, or acting strong when you're weak to force a fold. This is how pros make their money against amateurs. But be warned. Trying to outlevel an expert who is also doing this can be disastrous. Ultimately, when you stop seeing your opponents as people playing cards and start seeing them as information processing systems, the entire game changes. You're no longer battling the deck. You're battling their minds. And when you can master your opponent's mind, the table and everything on it is yours. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of winning. See you at the tables. Hey everyone, and welcome to Mind of Grinder. If you're tired of the same old poker advice, you've come to the right place. This isn't just another channel about odds and outs. We dive deep into the psychological frameworks, advanced behavioral analysis, and neurocognitive patterns that elite players use to dominate the competition. When you subscribe, you get exclusive access to premium content that will fundamentally change your game. We're talking advanced hand deconstructions from high-stakes games, psychological reading protocols, and the exact mental models that separate the pros from the amateurs. But what's most important is the community. By joining us, you're surrounding yourself with serious players who understand that poker is a mental battle. So hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Join the thousands of players already transforming how they read the table. Because reading minds isn't a gift, it's a skill. Your transformation starts today.